I'm Keith Barry, and this is the 2026 Hyundai Palisade 3-row SUV. It is a refreshingly redesigned family vehicle that seats up to 8 people, and depending on how you configure it, it can feel as luxurious inside as an SUV that costs twice as much. The Palisade starts at around $40,000 for the entry-level SE trim with front-wheel drive, and it goes up to just under $60,000 for the top-of-the-line calligraphy trim with all-wheel drive. Now, Hyundai told us that they expect the calligraphy to be the top seller, so that's why we bought a 2026 Hyundai Palisade calligraphy all-wheel drive for our test program at Consumer Reports. The starting price for the calligraphy is $56,060. Ours came with a few options, plus the inevitable destination fee of $1,425 added up to a total cost of $58,195. That's not cheap, but you're getting a lot of car for the money. The final assembly point is Ulsan, South Korea. Palisade is now powered by a 287 horsepower 3.5-liter V6 engine. It's a new engine for 2026, and it's paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Hyundai is also offering, for the first time, a hybrid version of the Palisade. The hybrid is definitely a compelling option, especially when you consider the fact that the gas version is EPA estimated at 20 miles a gallon combined, and the hybrid, Hyundai says, will get 34 miles per gallon combined. We're just going to talk about the non-hybrid version. No matter which flavor of Palisade you choose, we think that you'll probably appreciate Hyundai's no-nonsense approach to a big SUV. You've got real door handles that you don't need to read the instruction manual to figure out how they work. You've mostly got buttons instead of screens, and the technology that is in the car is really good, and it's meant to make your life easier and not more complex. The first thing you'll notice about the redesign is this new kind of prominent grille. The vehicle itself is 2.7 inches longer than the outgoing model, and it has the silhouette of kind of like a classic Range Rover. It's very, very boxy, and that's a good thing at the rear of the car. It doesn't slope down at the roof like a lot of newer SUVs, and that means that there's more room for people in this third row and better headroom, more predictable cargo space as well. Now, in the second row of the car, you can either get a bench seat, which means the car seats 8, or 2 captain's chairs, which are standard in the calligraphy and in some of the higher trims, and that means you seat 7. And in the back of the car, there's a decent amount of cargo space even with the third row folded up, but you really get a ton of space when you fold those seats down. They're motorized. They fold out of the way, and you see the second row even folds itself. It even kind of scoots out of the way to make room for the third row. You have a ton of space back here with all of those seats folded. Now, there are a million different configurations as to how to fold these seats. It's 60-40 in the third row. You can fold one of the captain's chairs down. You can leave the other one up. You can fold them both down. And you can fold them down from the back of the car, from the seats themselves, or something I think is really cool is up at the front of the car, the driver can fold them down from the touchscreens. The only problem is that these seats are slow. There's a one-touch button on the seat here which folds the second row out of the way to get to the third row. The only thing is, imagine that it were raining and I had groceries and there were kids running around and I wanted to make sure they could get into the third row. Look at how long it takes for the second row to fold out of the way. In that amount of time, the kids would have run off somewhere, I'd be soaking wet, and the grocery bags would have soaked through. Groceries would all be on the ground. So it's convenient, but it's not quick. The Palisade also comes with a real spare tire. It's underneath the vehicle, and there is a jack and also a wrench underneath the cargo area in the back. You've got some nice ground clearance here, which also makes it a lot easier to get into the vehicle. It's not too high, it's not too low. It's fairly easy to step into the vehicle in the front and the rear. I just want to take some time to appreciate just how nice this car is on the inside. Now remember, this is the calligraphy trim, so it is the nicest. You get the suede headliner up here. You get this Napa leather trim, seats that have a massage function on them. In addition to the massaging seats, the Palisade calligraphy also comes with these seats that kind of work like a first-class airline seat. They recline and tilt and also have a little bolster for your legs so you can take a nap. We recommend you don't use it while driving. The cart just looks kind of like a Bentley dupe inside. Now, some of the drivers who have driven this car so far have said that they've had trouble getting the seat adjusted in a way that doesn't block the screen or that doesn't move the entire seat too much when you just want to tilt the front. Design-wise, you've got this kind of 60s, 70s muscle car thing, but also with a real modern twist to it. The dashboard has chrome, but it has this sort of inflated, bubbly cowl that is covered in very interesting material that isn't quite carbon fiber. It looks like something you'd see in a luxury hotel. It's very modern, but very classic at the same time. Another way the car is modern and classic is that you have a touchscreen here, but it doesn't dominate the entire dashboard. So many cars look like they have, a tablet just glued on. This is integrated. Now, it's a little small and it's a little bit, hidden by this cowl of the dash, but at the same time, it shows everything you need, and you have buttons for most of the main features that you want, whether they're on the steering wheel, their turn signal stalks. Hyundai is not perfect on that account. You'll see here, this is a touchscreen for a lot of the climate controls, with the exception of temperature and the 3-speed automatic function. We wish that these were real buttons, and we wish that this, stock here for selecting a gear were visible and not blocked by the steering wheel. You didn't just have to operate it by touch. That's a complaint we've had with a lot of Hyundai vehicles lately. There's also some evidence of cost cutting. You have a couple of different pieces here for this chrome trim, which is obvious and doesn't fit perfectly, and things like there's no lining inside of the glove box here. But those are small concerns. Overall, Hyundai really got the Palisade right. I like how many places there are to store things in the car. You've got your 2 cup holders here. You've got 2 small bottle holders in each side door pocket up front. You have a place to put a phone and charge it wirelessly. You have a little shelf down here. You have a place here that could hold maybe a purse or a handbag. You have hidden storage where you put things away from prying eyes inside here as well. You also have 3 USB-C ports up here, and then something which is very unique. It's a UV sanitizing system. If you press this button, it puts on some UVC lights, and it's supposed to clean anything that's inside the center console. There's also a dash cam feature built into the vehicle, and you can set it so it can be on when the car's parked, if there's a motion detected, or if there's a driving event. So basically, you can get it so it only runs if there is a crash. As far as infotainment controls are concerned, you have physical buttons here for media, for navigation, and to get you back to the home screen. You have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay compatibility. So far, we haven't had any trouble pairing our phones to the car and getting it to work. And you have separate knobs here for volume and for tuning. The 2026 Hyundai Palisade offers a feature called Passenger Talk. It uses a microphone here and speakers in the 3rd row and plays the driver's voice to the passengers. It works really well, so you don't have to shout if there are kids back there and you need to talk to them. Don't make me pull over. It also works if you're a tour guide. On your left, there's Consumer Reports Test Track, where we do our wet braking tests, and on your right there is Frank mowing the lawn. Now, some SUVs make it really nice for the driver, but anyone in the 2nd or 3rd row isn't so lucky. But the Palisade is actually really impressive back there. Let's check it out. The second row is very easy to get in and out of. You have a lot of legroom, and with the two captain's chairs here, you have kind of your own throne here. You have your own controls for heated and ventilated seats. You have your own temperature climate controls here, your own vents. You have USB-C ports that are built into the seats in front of you. It's a very comfortable place to be. These seats can also go into relax mode like the one up front. Now, something that folks with longer legs will appreciate is that you can control the passenger seat front from the second row. You just have to reach forward, and then all of a sudden, you can instantly make yourself more legroom. Now, there's also a nice pathway back here to the third row through the middle of the captain's chairs, but I'm going to show you another way to get to the third row with the second row out of the way in what Hyundai calls walk-in mode. It's as easy as it gets to get into the third row of an SUV of this size. So if you want to watch, that was relatively graceful for someone my age. And once you're back here, yeah, it isn't a minivan, it isn't a full-size SUV, but you do have a decent amount of space here. My knees aren't up to my shoulders. I have legroom. I have room for my feet to go underneath the seat in front of me. And I have headroom back here as well. You also have some niceties. You can adjust the tilt of the seat back. It's a powered seat. You can give yourself a little more legroom by moving the seat back. You have a USB-C charger. You have two cup holders. And what I think is most interesting is that you have a heated seat back here. And when it's time to get out of the car, all you have to do is press this one button on the seat back, and this seat in front of you in the second row will go into walk-in mode and move out of the way. So you don't have to wait for someone to free you from the third row. You can get yourself out, which is exactly what I'm going to do. And we're going to get behind the wheel and talk about how the Palisade drives. Pretty easy. The Palisade is definitely tuned to be a family car. The suspension is very plush, but it isn't too cushy or too floaty. You know, you get a sense of the road surface, but it doesn't punch into the cabin. And that's especially a good thing because the calligraphy trim comes with 21-inch wheels, and big wheels tend to mean for a harsher ride, but you don't have that in the Palisade. Something else you'll notice is that it is, it's not a sports car, but the handling is very good for a vehicle of this size. It does a decent job controlling lean and body roll, and the steering is just communicative enough about any sort of slip or tire grip. It's overall a very pleasant vehicle to drive. For the most part, the 8-speed automatic transmission does a great job hiding in the background, which is exactly what a transmission should do. You shouldn't notice it. Very occasionally, if you're giving a real quick throttle input or if you're accelerating from a rolling stop, you might notice a slight delay. And whether that delay is because of the transmission or because of the engine building power, it depends on the situation. But it's nowhere near as bad as a lot of modern cars we've driven that get very lurchy in stop-and-go traffic or in passing maneuvers specifically. Our only real complaint about the Palisade is the V6 engine, which is newer and smaller for 2026. And it does take a bit of effort to get the right amount of power out of it. You really have to tip into the throttle and get it to around 4,300 RPM in order to get that full access to the power that it has. And it's pretty loud too. It's an adequate performer. It's just not a stellar one. The boxy profile of the Palisade and its thinner pillars make for decent visibility. It's not bad at all. I can see fairly well out the rear 3/4 of the vehicle. There's one thick pillar back there that gets in the way a little bit, but it's not as bad as other vehicles that I've driven. And then the other thing that you'll notice is just how quiet this vehicle is. Unless you're really tipping into the throttle and unless you're really flooring it to get some more power out of that V6 when it's acting particularly lazy, you don't hear anything. You don't hear wind noise, you don't hear engine noise. It's just a quiet, nice place to be. I could get in this car and drive across the country, and I think I would be comfortable. The Palisade packs Hyundai's Smart Sense suite of active safety and driver assistance systems. And those include, the usual suspects: automatic emergency braking, blind spot warning, rear cross traffic warning, and reverse automatic emergency braking. Other standard features include adaptive cruise control and lane centering assistance, which are informed by navigation data. There's also a standard driver monitoring system, and it monitors driver attention. Hyundai also offers a couple of really unique safety features on the Palisade called Safe Exit Assist, and basically it prevents rear passengers from opening the door into oncoming traffic. There is also a feature which scans the interior of the vehicle when it's parked to make sure that no kids or pets or anyone else has been left behind and trapped in the vehicle. And there's also the option to turn on a video rear view mirror. So if your rear view is blocked by cargo, it'll use a camera feed from outside the car and display it in the rear view mirror. If you're in the market for a 3-row SUV, the Palisade is one of the most satisfying vehicles out there. It's spacious, it's well-equipped, and it blends some luxury appointments with a real no-nonsense design. Now, if I were spending $60,000 on an SUV, the Palisade would definitely be on my list. But more importantly, if I were spending $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 on an SUV from Audi or BMW or one of the other luxury brands, I would also check out the Palisade in calligraphy trim, because you get some real luxury and you can save a lot of money by buying a Hyundai. To read our full review of the Palisade and see our road test results for this and other 3-row SUVs, head to cr.org.